Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first video talking about kind of the content of what the statistics course is going to be about. And so just as a reminder, all of this will be posted in our agenda and under week 1. And so hopefully you've been able to find that and join our Google Meet. And here we go. So I will start this. So there we go, statistics. And the first chapter is all about definitions of stats and probability and key terms. So there's almost no calculating in the first part. Well, I guess there'll be a little bit, but it's a lot of vocabulary. But then after this, then it gets into calculations and interpretations. And so for our course here, we're going to be using this OpenStax Intro to Stats book. And I think it's great. Has lots of homework problems, solutions, practice tests, reviews, really good examples within each chapter. And if you don't like my PowerPoints for whatever reason, you could always go to our textbook under our classroom resources, or you can take your physical textbook and you can go through and read the chapter. Or maybe I give a bad definition of something and you want to clarify it, you could use the textbook to go in and find that definition and clarify it. My internet's taking a little bit of time here, but I'm just opening up the textbook and then showing you chapter 1 whenever that happens to happen. But I think you get the point. You hopefully have a textbook in front of you. So the point was you can go through and reread the textbook at your leisure, and being a college level course and being a totally online course, that might be your preferred learning method. It's really up to you. All right, I'll come back to our presentation here. And so, yeah, there we go. If you're ever away from the Google Classroom and you want to find this book, just Google OpenStax Statistics and you'll find it. So here we go. Yeah, we're going to be collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting data. And a lot of this whole course is all about interpreting data. We're going to get data sets, and collecting it is not going to be too hard. Organizing it is going to be pretty easy, especially using technology. Analyzing it, a lot of the calculations are done for us these days, either on our calculators or using programs. And a lot of the hard part and the more interesting parts will come from interpreting your data, figuring out what data is important and what did we learn from that data. And so chapter 1 just goes through some brief overview of just what data is. And so here's collecting some data. They collected the data on the bottom and they made a dot plot here from it, where they put a little dot for each one. So there's the 5 and the 5.5. And chapter 2 is all about making these data sets. So we're not going to worry too much about making that right now, but we'll start making those in Google Sheets in chapter 2. And so descriptive statistics, it's organizing, summarizing data, and it's when you generalize a conclusion based on a set of data. And so here we have some descriptive statistics and a little pie chart and a bar graph. Inferential statistics is when we look at our data and we need to make an inference from the data, and that's determining whether or not our data is good or bad, or maybe somewhere in the middle, and determining what did we learn from our data. And so like here's just a basic example, linear regression, trying to figure out what does that tell us. Does that really, what does that tell us? Something relevant or not relevant? We'll get to that in the later chapters, right? Mainly chapters 6 and beyond. The goal of stats is not to perform a bunch of calculations, even though we will be doing that. But the point is, the calculations are pretty straightforward. And a lot of the calculations get done for us these days using calculators or computers. But the main part is trying to figure out, what does it tell us? And how do we be more confident in decisions we make in our everyday lives? So probability is going to be a big part of this as well. We'll get to this in some of the earlier chapters. It's to study random chance. So the chance of something happening. So for example, toss a coin 4 times. The outcome may not be 2 heads, 2 tails, but if you toss a coin 4,000 times, it's going to be pretty close to 2,000 and 2,000. So law of large numbers, we'll be talking about that. So, statistics is based on the theory of probability. We're using what we know about probability and statistics to put those together to make good decisions. So games of chance, such as poker, predictions take the form of probabilities. The likelihood of an earthquake or rain, or whether or not you get an A in this course, we use probabilities. The probability of when someone gets a vaccination causing the disease the vaccination is supposed to prevent. That's specifically related to like mumps and measles and things like that back in the day. But all right, and then I will stop there and start a new video talking about our terms. So feel free to go through and review the first section in chapter 1 if I was unclear about any of this, and I'll see you in a moment.